You're listening to the Agent Survival Guide podcast, a podcast for today's insurance agents. Informing, educating, empowering, improving the way you do business in an industry that's anything but static. In today's episode, we are talking about a platform I consider to be a must-have for insurance agents. You'll find out why that is, and we'll also get into some strategies and tips in LinkedIn Basics for Insurance Agents. We mention it frequently here on the podcast. We are big believers that insurance agents should have a well-rounded digital footprint, and that footprint should include a website, social media presence, and the ability to be found online. Today, we're talking about another one of my social media must-haves for insurance agents, and that is, you guessed it, LinkedIn. Our strategy looks a little bit different for this social media platform because it is geared toward professionals. It's not a platform you'll use to engage with clients or find leads. But it is a great place to network with other professionals, whether that happens to be representatives from insurance carriers, team members from your field marketing organization, other insurance agents, even potential affinity partners. There's a lot of opportunity just waiting for insurance agents on LinkedIn. So let's get into some details and best practices. First up, we will start with some demographics. LinkedIn claims to be the quote-unquote world's largest professional network. According to Senior Talent Acquisition Leader Sajith Kumar Swaminathan, the current user base sits at about 1.2 billion members as of January 1st, 2026. And in the United States, that comes out to 230 million users, according to the most recent stats available by Pew Research Center. Couple other stats from Pew worth mentioning. 40% of adults ages 30 to 49 have ever used LinkedIn. 32% of adults between the ages of 18 and 29 have used LinkedIn. 31% of adults age 50 to 64 have used the platform, while just 12% of those 65 and older have ever used LinkedIn. And in terms of where LinkedIn falls among the other social media offerings, in November 2025, Search Engine Journal ranked them in the number 8 slot of the top 10 social media apps by monthly active users. That might not seem like an impressive ranking when compared to some of the other names on the list, but keep in mind that LinkedIn functions as mainly a B2B networking platform, while the other platforms split their capabilities pretty evenly. And even though LinkedIn does have functionality for B2C and even B2B2C, most people use it for business-to-business networking. That's one of the biggest ways insurance agents can utilize LinkedIn. But if you're not sure what that looks like, here are some examples of how I've used LinkedIn. Here at Ritter Insurance Marketing, most of us have used LinkedIn to reach out to new hires and welcome them to the team, myself included. It's also a great way to promote yourself and your position within your agency or business. If I'm meeting with a prospective podcast guest, I'll read up on their profile to get a better idea of their background. Some might call it digital stalking. Here we refer to it as research and investigative journalism. Don't be afraid to think of your LinkedIn profile as a way to get your name out there in front of other agents and agencies. Just like with your website and Facebook page, when someone Googles your name, your LinkedIn profile will likely show up in the search engine result pages. Another great way to utilize LinkedIn: ask questions and join professional communities. When I was just starting out as a podcaster, I had a ton of questions. On LinkedIn, I was able to pick the brains of other podcasters and marketing professionals for technical advice and recommendations. Your LinkedIn profile offers many opportunities to showcase who you are and what you do. On my profile, in addition to having a link to the Agent Survival Guide podcast, I have a photo of headphones and a microphone in my header image to show some of the tools I use daily. I also post each episode we record, both on my public feed and in several insurance-related groups I belong to. Networking has always been an important part of business, and LinkedIn amplified that concept considerably. Users have the ability to connect and follow other users around the world. When you connect with an individual, the content that person posts shows up in your feed. Who you follow is up to your preferences and what you're coming to LinkedIn for. As far as who I follow, it's a mix of like-minded individuals and those who inspire me and keep me motivated. That means fellow podcasters, writers, Kutztown alumni, coworkers here at Ritter Insurance Marketing, and of course, insurance industry professionals. We recommend following along with carriers, agent groups, and insurance groups, especially if they're identifying news and trends in our industry. Follow leaders and companies from the industry and outside of the industry. Seek out business leaders that talk about entrepreneurship, sales, lead generation, productivity, mindset. The list goes on and on. Next up, and we've mentioned this in several previous episodes, when you're filling out your profile on LinkedIn and every other social media platform, make sure to fill it out as completely as possible. Take advantage of all the space they give you. And on LinkedIn, that is a lot. You'll start out with basic information like your position, industry, education, location, and a headline that viewers will see just under your name. Then you'll get the chance to go into those sections in more detail, adding in licenses and certifications, volunteer work, skills, interests. There's a lot to fill out. One feature I would like to highlight is called the Custom button, and that can be found at the very bottom of the basic info section. Here you can link to your website or another URL and customize the text that's displayed. The link shows up just under your location at the very top of your LinkedIn profile. It's located above the fold, which is what us marketing folks call it when content is viewable immediately upon a website loading. No scrolling necessary. My custom button has text that reads, "Follow the ASG podcast." And that takes viewers to our podcast feed where they can listen to the latest episodes and follow along with our show. Also important, I want to make sure I touch on your profile picture because there are a few more things to consider on LinkedIn versus other social media platforms. Your LinkedIn photo could very well be the first picture someone sees of you. And with it being a professional networking site, be sure to think about the kind of impression you want to make. We recommend users avoid selfies, strange backgrounds, and pictures with other people. It should be a quality photo of you, smiling and looking like an approachable professional insurance agent. As you progress through the steps of filling out your profile, you'll notice that LinkedIn keeps track of that progress for you. The site will continue to prompt you to fill in your information, which is nice if you don't have the time to do it all in one sitting. And then when you've filled out enough details, LinkedIn rewards users with something called an all-star rating. And then on top of that, you can verify your profile by going through LinkedIn's identity verification process. I took the steps to get verified, definitely recommend it. The process is fairly straightforward, didn't take a long time to complete, and unlike other social media platforms, you don't have to pay anything to get it. It is completely free. After you have your profile filled out, complete with a profile picture, header, and all the bells and whistles, well, that brings us to one of the questions that we get quite frequently. What do I post on LinkedIn? If you're really not sure where to begin, we recommend checking out what's being posted in your feed by the people you follow. You can join the conversation by reposting something that someone else posted, adding your thoughts, and continuing the conversation. It's okay to test the waters before you fully jump in and start posting. If you're ready to give posting a try, I would recommend articles related to our industry. Choose topics that are timely, content that other agents and industry professionals would likely be interested in. That could be an episode of our podcast, a post from the Ritter blog, could be an article from ThinkAdvisor, or a study from KFF. Those are just a couple examples. But don't just insert the link and click post. Add your insight, like a key takeaway that you found helpful, or a passage that really resonated with you and why. These are the posts I enjoy reading the most on LinkedIn. It's often my way of getting a fresh perspective. When you relate what one of my favorite college professors called sea stories to a situation, it breathes an air of authenticity into your post because your experiences are unique to you. You can use LinkedIn to share your insights on industry changes or projections too. I frequently see posts like that, and they kick off great conversations. Just remember to keep the conversation professional and avoid anything that's too carrier-specific. Even if it is a B2B atmosphere, there are still CMS rules that need to be followed. Another way to grow your network, and the last thing we will touch on here in this episode, LinkedIn groups. There are so many groups on LinkedIn, some that are public, some that are private, and each one centers around a specific topic. There are alumni networks, insurance groups, business groups, professional organizations, marketing groups, groups for podcasters. There is a group for everyone. Finding a group is as simple as entering a search term on LinkedIn and then tapping on the group filter to find one, or several that are right for you. We've also got a link to get you that group search on LinkedIn in our episode notes. Groups are beneficial because they distill conversations down to specific topics that really let you engage in conversation. Whether that's asking all the questions and getting answers, or providing the answers and sharing your knowledge with others. And as I mentioned in the open, it doesn't matter if you're new to the industry or you've been doing this for years. LinkedIn is the place to build your professional network. If you're looking for more information on LinkedIn, we have the link to our social media ebook in the notes. It is written specifically for insurance agents with actionable tips in there. If you have not downloaded your copy, I would say that is your next step today. And as you're reading through that, you might come up with a few questions, and we would love to help answer those for you. Our email is asgpodcast@ritterim.com, and no need to memorize that. It will be in the episode notes, along with the other resources we mentioned in this episode. Thanks so much for listening to this installment of our show. We will see you next episode. The Agent Survival Guide podcast is a production of Ritter Insurance Marketing, an integrity company. This episode was written and produced by me, Sarah Ruppel. Script proofing by Ashley Toomey. Podcast design by Urban Rivera. Like what you hear? Follow along with our show wherever you get your podcasts. Rate and review our show on Apple or Spotify.